Good to see you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so jazzed up for today because we are diving deep into the Limitless Life event. The doors to the group are open. Like, this is like if you were in person, this would be where the line was at the front door and the doors are opened up, and like everybody's rushing to the front of the room to grab their seats, to look in the event booths, to figure out like what's this going to be about. Like, this event, the event of the year, is coming up October 14th, and we're kicking it off today together to talk about what's coming up in the Limitless Life event, your Limitless Life event. Why should I be there? And what is up with this success system? How can I create success faster and easier than I have done in weeks, than I've done in years? That's a big promise. How is that possible? We're going to dive into that. And then I'm going to have a great guest come on today and share a little bit about her story, about how she went from limited to limitless, how she went from limited income, limited time, limited influence, and on using this system, this simple brain-based step-by-step system, everything flipped, and she was able to truly create a limitless life on her terms. If we don't know each other, my name is Dr. Shannon Irvin. I am an entrepreneur, a high performance business coaching consultant. I help 6, 7, and 8-figure business owners transform their lives by transforming how they think. And I also have a background in neuropsychology. So my whole background has created this neural coaching model, and studying the brain science of success, I found these missing pieces that so many of us entrepreneurs have. And I want you to have them, because the way your brain wires and fires either success or failure, there is a system to that. And once you have the keys to this system, once you have the roadmap that your brain uses to create any good result, any income, any impact, any influence, anything that you want in your life, your brain has a very step-by-step system that it uses, as well as there is a system toward failure. And there is a system that develops worth and confidence. And most struggling business owners, CEOs, entrepreneurs don't slow down enough to get access to the system. And the top 1%, that secret thing, that missing piece, this is the key. And so the 4 days of the event, they're just 4 short 1-hour days. And we are going to break down not only success by your terms, creating your success manifesto, but then we're going to actually give you the first step in the system that unleashes your limitless life. Honestly, like, with this one step, you're going to get massive momentum toward that big vision that you put forward in the beginning of the year. And then we're going to dive deep into more of that blueprint and ultimately give you the fast track to unlocking all of that faster and easier than you thought possible. Welcome, Hilary. It's good to see you.
Oh my God, Dr. Shannon, I love you. I love your program. And I'm so glad that if I can help share what happened to me and my transformation, then I think it will, I can't say enough about your program. I really can't.
Oh, thank you. Well, I get so excited, and I know you feel the same in your world, where we get to open the doors, the backstage pass, so to speak, to people who aren't in our community, that don't know that there is a right and a wrong way to approach success. And who this event is not for is for people who are not motivated. You know, they're just kind of waiting for it to land in their lap and that kind of thing. And that's not who we're talking to, right? We're talking to people who really have a mission and a calling and a vision and a dream to see their life and their business get to the next level and the next level. And I remember having a conversation with you, Hilary, feeling like you're like, I just feel like break the chains off me. I'm ready to go. And So talk a little bit about when you were in that position with limited time, limited income, not where you really wanted to be, but the vision was there, right? What did that feel like for you? And what was that like in your family and just in your whole life? What was that experience like before you became unleashed?
Well, can I tell you, I still remember I was in my car off to the side. I was driving down PCH in California, I had the waves on my left. And I remember saying, all right, so I come out of the Silicon Valley. I have run high-tech companies. I've raised millions and millions of dollars for myself, the CEOs, entrepreneurs that I've coached.
Yeah.
And yet I remember saying to you, there's something that is holding me back. And in other companies, I've been able to just like move forward. And is it this whole idea of digital space and these courses I'm creating and what is happening? Like, what is going on with me? Please help. And I do believe every single coach out there absolutely 100% has to have a coach.
Yeah.
And I am so particular with who I want to work with because I have to have such a sense of trust. I have to know that they genuinely have more than, I'm sure your audience has gone to people and within the first hour, they're like, all right, I think I've learned everything I could possibly learn from this person. And I truly feel like I could stay with you the rest of my life and I would be learning more and more. I love, how you have this approach of, first off, I thrive with people who are truly humble, genuine, and have that sense of a greater calling. Like I know when I get on the group calls with you that there is no other place that you want to be. And that you are like 100%, you are going to help each and every one of us, which there are so many coaches out there these days that are getting, they're getting certified. I saw one the other day, Dr. Shannon, this is great. It was, I can get you certified to be a coach in 7 minutes for $7. And I'm like, no, this is what destroys the industry.
Don't get me on a pedestal because we'll go off on a
yes. So I'm sorry about that, but
that's okay.
I really do believe that the cream rises to the top. And when I first heard you, it was actually you weren't even talking about business. You were talking about your charity and Mosaic and what you were doing there. And I thought, all right, not only is she, this high-powered neuro coach, she's also got this gigantic heart. And I'm like, that's my kind of coach. That's who I want to coach me. Well, what was fascinating is as I sat there and was talking to you and I said, I know I can do it. I've done it in other industries. I've done it for other people. What is going on with me? And you said something so profound to me that day that it is embedded in my mind. And you said, it's one of the steps that you're missing. You're not embracing that whole release part where you're mirroring or you're putting it on someone else. And I'm like, well, I didn't really do that. I didn't feel comfortable doing it, putting some of this, negativity of what I was thinking, my limiting beliefs, onto somebody else. And I was like, oh, and you're like, do it. And I'm going to say, I went and I did it. And at that point, after I did it, my business and I did it I never knew that it had to be, the amount of days that you describe it to be because of, scientific evidence. Yeah. I didn't know it was the 62 to 67. I didn't know so much. And by the way, I've been coaching for 20 plus years and I was missing a key component. Yeah. And Dr. Shannon, last weekend, I was on like a mini little 3-day vacation with my husband celebrating our anniversary. And I knew something was coming up again for me. And so I got up really early and I went out and we were in Mexico and I'm looking at the ocean again and I'm writing. And I did an entire process, your entire steps. And I went through this. And I mean, I was like bawling, I was crying, and my dad is having a massive surgery today that's life or death situation. And I had to go through this process because I knew it was holding me back. in so many other areas. And so I did it again.
Yeah.
And I took it a little bit differently. Like you explained to me that, you have like that, there's one way, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh gosh, I've got another one. And it's a process.
Yeah.
But once you nail the process, oh my God. So I did that. Actually, it was about 2 weeks ago. And I mean, even just the act of doing it, all of a sudden I gained clarity. I'm writing a book that first draft is going to be done at the end of the month. I'm like, I felt like this whole download. I felt like clarity. I felt everything. And I'm like, you've got it. You do it so well that it's incredible. Anybody listening to this, if you're on this journey that you want success and there's something holding you back and you can't quite figure it out, I got to tell you, her process, what she does, how she does it in this very like non-threatening way versus like, it's up to you, the direction and how you tweak it. And I appreciated that so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's the greatest news of all. I mean, at least it was for me, knowing that, because before I really discovered these things and then starting putting these things together and then, hacked myself and then my clients, this was a very long time ago. I just remember like feeling like I was this is always how I described it. Like I was in a bubble and I was moving in the bubble. So I was never not moving. Like I was always like, inch by inch or quarter inch by quarter inch, creating a little bit of movement. Right. But okay, don't laugh. But if you've ever seen a hamster in a hamster ball, like they get moving, right. And then but as soon as they stop, it like rolls backwards. And that's what it felt like. And it felt like everything, the vision that God gave me, the desire of time with my family, being there for them, like everything that my definition of success, by the way, which is different than yours and different than yours and different than yours. That's important. Your brain needs to know what to believe before you can achieve, right? Your brain write that down. Your brain needs to know what to believe before you can achieve. And there is actually a system to believe, like an actual system to believe. You can't just go, I believe. That does not work. You've tried it and you're smart, right? So if you've tried it and you're smart, this is where I hope the bells are going off. It's like, wait a minute, I am smart. And I have worked my butt off and I have spent ridiculous amount of hours and missed out on way too many things. And if that was the formula, I would be there. You would be there. And so I remember like it just feeling just out of reach, like the plastic ball or the ball that was around, like I couldn't get to it. Right. And as these steps became apparent, I'm just the weird. I always say this to everybody. And the model is what does the magic. It's how our brain is wired. Success, failure, worth since the beginning of time. It is the system. You need the operating manual. You need the keys, right? And so that's the big thing. So once for me, that feeling of it being just out of reach versus knowing that if I follow a system and I have the formula, it will produce that limitless life. By my definition, it will produce the limitless income, impact, influence, all those things. That to me is exciting. For me, I'm
and here's the thing. We think we can do this. We think we can will ourselves. We think we can make this happen on our own.
Yeah.
I'm living proof that I had a missing link. There was and we've talked about this, and you're like, bookended in your what you're doing, Hilary, make this that missing piece, that puzzle piece that you're like, oh, where is it? Is it under the ground? Is it on the ground? And you literally handed me it and was like, put this in and watch it explode. And it does. And what we think we can do, or what we hear from all of the experts out there that are saying, 21 days, you're going to be able to do this and I'm not going into the detail because I don't know how much you've shared with people.
Yeah, no, they just walked in the room. So
yeah. Okay. So I don't want to, I don't want to give too much away of this, like, what you get in this, this program. But I do have to say that, again, I was skeptical. I knew that you're really amazing and you've done amazing things for others, but again, it was one of my own limiting beliefs that, I've been doing this a long time. I'm not like, a newbie, and so, yeah. But here's the thing. I didn't know what I didn't know in terms of the mind, the brain, the neuro behind it until you were able to say, and you could just like nail it. You were listening to me and you just said, hey, here's something that you have to go do. And it was that one step that I had never even thought about doing. And my business has, and again, this is for all of you who've come out of corporate. Yes, I was there for 10 years. For all of you that have been doing something else, I get it. I am, I'm like a Swiss Army knife. I've got so many different things that I've done, but I hadn't done the putting a true digital course together behind coaching, behind all this. I hadn't done that. And so my own limitations, and I'm going to circle back to this whole thing with my dad. My dad was this high-powered orthopedic surgeon. And, he was always like, if you're going to do something, you do it at your highest level. And it's like, work hard, play hard. And so I had developed this whole thought of like, well, why isn't this happening like it's happened in other areas of my life? And it was this one piece. And as you said, what is success? What is success to each and every one of you? Success to me is I want to be able to go anywhere. I've got 5 kids, between 3 of my own and 2 stepkids. I have, ailing parents. I want to be able to pick up and go and do whatever I'm going to do, wherever I'm going to do it. So this model really was, perfect for me. Instead of me being in an actual brick and mortar building and I'm working and I've got my team and we're doing, all of the software and technology. I'm like, no, I really want to do this. But why isn't it happening? And why isn't it happening fast enough? And I remember listening to you speak about your own limiting belief and your vulnerability around your podcast. And, who am I to do this? And that actually came at the perfect time because it was when I was launching my podcast. But what you said was, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Who's going to listen? And I mean, I felt that during that launch. I felt that during right now as, I'm finalizing my first draft of the book. And I keep going back to, hey, I'm good. I can sit down and I can take myself through, what's coming up for me. And I remember you said, are you listening? Are you listening to your body? What's happening? Why are you feeling that way? And taking it through, this hardwire, wire your brain is literally that key to success. And what is success? Success is the lifestyle that you want to create it to be. And you've done that for me. And so I attribute my
You've done that. You've used the system to do that for you. And that's the huge thing.
But nobody else could get me to do a system. Nobody else could I'm like, no, I know that. I got that. I got that. I can do that. I can do it myself. I've been doing this. I have a psychology degree. I can get that. And it was like, no, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it myself. And once I was open to you, to your process, your team, your company, I'm like, wow, it's incredible.
So much faster and easier than those old broken methods. So you're writing a book. Talk a little bit about and you just shared that you went on a 3-day Mexico thing just to celebrate your anniversary. So I'm seeing a lot of evidence of that limitless life that you set down to create when we first got together. But I'd love for you to share to anybody who's watching, because you shared the struggle and we've all been there. And anybody who says they haven't is,
we don't swear on this show, but you're full of something.
Because there is a success cycle, and we're going to dive into that during the event too. That's good news, because once you learn the keys in the operating system, you get to level up again and again and again and again. And that's what Hilary's talking about. I've seen her go through these up levelings where she gets to a different level. And then this book wasn't a goal from day one, right?
It was okay. I knew I had this amazing story to share.
Yeah.
But I couldn't figure out, and it was going back to limiting beliefs. It was going back to me holding myself back. And through the program, it became so crystal clear exactly what I was supposed to be putting in there. Where before I started in the program, I was like, well, I think I could write on this and I could do that. And then I was all over the place. And it just really got me focus in on, it's called the 3H effect. And it's the heart to the head to the higher self. And just, only focus on that. And I thought, oh my gosh, only when you start to just focus like you do with our, retraining our brain, when you understand that once you understand the steps, once you understand how to do this, all of a sudden I'm literally doing that with formulating the book. And what do I want to really share? And when I feel those things coming up for myself, I'm like, wait, stop, it's happening. And then I go back and like I said, I'm in a process right now. I think I'm on, well, I'll tell you exactly. I started it on the 25th of September. Because that was my anniversary. And that was the morning I got up and I'm like, I'm doing it again. And I've already, and this is what happens. The magic, the first time it took a little bit longer for me to really notice. And maybe it was just, I wasn't noticing what I was noticing. Right. And now I'm like, boom. All right. There's evidence right there. Keep going, Hilary. I woke up this morning and I did exactly what, you've got me now into this amazing habit of doing. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, I got to say, like I said, I did it because the lifestyle of success that I've always wanted is to be able to go wherever I need to go at a, minute time and be able to enjoy the vacation. But, life as we know it these days is the highs and the lows. I mean, I could go from having this amazing weekend this last weekend where I'm celebrating one of my dear friends' 50th to now I'm going to be in the hospital this afternoon. Highs and lows. And with a solid, stable program behind you, you're not as apt to take that wave that's just going to crush you. You're apt to be able to I'm not a surfer, but I can kind of imagine. I'm like, as I'm saying this, I'm like, this is probably not the best metaphor for me to be using, but I can ride it. I grew up on the beaches of La Jolla, so I can ride it going in with my boogie board all the way to the, to the beach. And that's what true success to me means, that it's not, you're going to wake up tomorrow and something else is going to happen. Right. You and I both been through major, massive moves recently, and things happen, you're even the smallest things that used to be like no big deal can rock your boat, can really make you, I'm sure you're like me. It's like, who do you even in this new area, where do you go to get your hair done? Where do you go to do
little things like that?
Little things that you're like, dang, this is like now becoming a big deal when you're, your roots are growing out. You're like, hey, I need somebody help. And what it does is that these small things that can become massive, that lead up, that as you discussed, they kind of one leads to another. And what we don't want, and what is not a lifestyle of success, is when they completely crush you. And you're like, I don't know what to do at this point. And
then you stop, right? Then you stop. It's this stop, start cycle, or start, stop cycle that we're going to break down, and why that's going on in the mind. But the great news, and I want everybody who's listening to understand, like, having a tool kit at your disposal to know that you can get to the level of income that you want to get to, that you can get to that freedom, like Hilary's talking about. She wants to be able to go anywhere. That might not be for you. What is yours? We're going to dive into that success manifesto on day one. We're going in, but it's so simple. And that's the thing, like Hilary, when you went through the entire success system, and now you're implementing again and again because you're leveling up and leveling up. The simplicity of how our brain wires these things, it's not hard. And that's what I want to, yes, we tap into how we wire success, but it's so simple. And most people that stay stuck and struggle and don't step into this stuff, they are, they're continuing to look at the thinking and the way they've done things before to give them different results, right? So the thinking that's gotten you where you are right now isn't the thinking that's going to take you to the next place. And the brain is so simple, it's so Lego-like that when you find out, like, here are the steps and here's how you get supported around doing it fast, it's so fast. But most people don't want to slow down to speed up. We're we're sold into this busy, it's got to look like 30 hours a day. It's got to look like, it's because that's what we're sold. But that's in direct, like, hear this, direct opposition. Like, it is exactly opposite of how the brain wires success. And so when you get the tools and you get the keys and you start to implement them, like Hilary is talking about, she's, crushing launches and she's writing books and she's doing all these things that she wasn't doing even a few short months ago. But talk about the confidence that comes with that, to know that when, like you were just talking about how, like, obstacles come your way, that's life. You now know you have a tool to handle that. But what about the vision side? What about the confidence that comes when you're looking at a next level vision, knowing that you have the tools there to actually automate that success that you've got a vision toward?
Well, so it was funny when you were talking, I'm like, when I really think about this, they say that competence breeds confidence. And what we all want to be is confident in our field, right? Yeah. We want to be able to go out there and deliver at our highest level and have whomever you're going to serve, whomever you're going to support, you want to be doing it. You want to be doing it and be proud of how you're doing it. Yeah. And so, when programs are out there and they're saying, oh, we're going to, give you confidence. And it's like, okay, but confidence to do what?
Right.
Like, how is this going to affect the people that I want to serve? And when you were saying what you just did, it's so perfect, because I feel like I'm now serving at my highest level. And I remember, you mentioned at one point in one of our conversations with the group, you said, it's one thing to get yourself out there. It's another to, when you take the stage, and whatever that stage is, one-on-one, whether it's, a coaching program, whether it's a mastermind, you know that you are going to attract, and you say, your vibe attracts your tribe. Okay. I 100%, and you said even in the last couple of months, I'm going to give you a great example of what you just said that directly ties to my journey with you and your team. I was approached by a coach of mine who called me and said, hey, I think you should do a mastermind and I want to be in it. And I'm like, whoa, like I got that hit of like, wait, this isn't part of my year plan. This isn't part of
level thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, well, wait a second. I can do this. Yeah. And I have the confidence. I have that missing puzzle piece. Could I not? I mean, this woman is calling me out of the blue saying this. I'm like, could I not do this? And because I have that core confidence now with, like, again, the competence that, okay, I can always fall back on. I really literally say it's the missing puzzle piece for me. It is. And as you said numerous times, put that in to what you're doing and bookend it with what you've already developed. So all you can do is enhance what you believe you already have. I mean, you already are, for those out there, you have your own gifts. Yeah. So many of us don't know, okay, you have the gift, but who are you going to give that gift to that when they unwrap it, they're going to truly be able to benefit from whatever you're giving them. Yeah. And you have to understand that to be able to really then shine the way you can. But if you've got stuff like holding you back up here, it will reflect into your business. And like I said, as soon as I stopped really getting in my own way and had the confidence to say, you know what, I know this stuff now. I've got it. I've got it. I've done it with myself. I've now done it with clients. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, we call it, I call it, relaunch, because it's like a rocket, right?
Yeah.
And I just saw that William Shatner is going to be going into
Yeah,
space for all those Trekkies out there. But I think about it and it's like, in order to get to space, there are the barriers, right? The barriers that you have to go through, and you need extra thrusting, extra power to be able to do that. And what you've provided me with that missing puzzle piece is that extra thrust to say, okay, Hill, you've been in this comfort zone. You've been here a long time. And this type of business for me is my true calling. But it's also one of the most challenging for me because I'm having to be vulnerable. I'm having to open up. I'm having to understand more about me. And that's a place that, being where I am with, my dad and the childhood I grew up with, that wasn't something that we were like, emotions and open up and let me share everything. That was like, whoa, you just get to that next level. Doesn't matter how you're feeling, just get there. And this has given me the ability to be like, wait a second. Now I know why I haven't been able to do certain things and why I've had blocks, right?
Yeah. And those blocks, here's the greatest news of all, like that.
Like that.
And why we're going to use a lot of metaphors this way, because a lot of high achievers, right? We have the foot on the gas, but we have a foot on the brake that we're unaware of. And we're asking, why can't we get where we want to go? Right? Why are we spinning in circles? And you wouldn't walk on a racetrack. Like if you got the opportunity to get into the Indy 500 and you knew how to race, right? You wouldn't walk out onto the track with an Indy cars right there and then go get into a tiny broken down VW, right? You just wouldn't do that. But we do it every single day when we wake up, when we choose outside in models, when we choose just try a different, tactic, when we are waiting for permission, we're not feeling confident, not feeling like enough, but then we're still trying to work hard. And we're not tapping into the source that creates it all. I mean, your mind creates more time, more energy, more income, more impact, more influence. It draws people to you. It's so quick and easy with these systems and strategies, but most people will get in the VW and just say, I'll just try what I've always done. We'll get there eventually. When you have a literal Ferrari sitting to the top of your shoulders that can literally within weeks help you accomplish more than you've accomplished in years. And so, Hilary, thank you so much for coming on live today.
Oh, my pleasure.
In the group we just opened the doors, and I'm going to speak to those in the room inside that have already signed up for your Limitless Live. So we'll say goodbye.
Excellent.
But thank you,
Thank
Hilary.
you. Take care.
Bye.